Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So today what I want to do is take a look at a few of these electric panel boxes. You do find them sometimes on garbage day, especially around older houses where they're doing a major renovation, rewiring of the house, or an add-on to the house. Electricians can no longer use the old style panel box and replace them with the new ones. So you will find them, and they do come in different sizes, as you can see behind me. As well, they are loaded with excellent scrap material. They are 100% scrappable. They are always made with a thick, heavy outer steel case. Inside, there is a lot of wire, copper wire. There is a lot of copper itself from different parts of it, as well as brass. As well, the breakers do also have copper, brass, and silver inside of them as well. So what I'm going to do today is open up a few of the breakers, talk about some of the material on each of these, and more importantly, how to identify it properly, maximize your profit, and divert all of this away from the landfill. So, gonna start. Before I begin taking it apart, I do want to mention a huge shout out to a good friend of mine, George Stukas. He had a major house renovation, and these three that you see here were from his house. The electrician could no longer use them, and he was kind enough to give them to me for this video, so I appreciate that very much. And I do also want to mention, before you scrap these, you do want to check online. There are hobbyist electricians, or even electricians themselves, that will buy more modern electric panel boxes, as well as breakers. So I am not going to take all these breakers apart. I do want to check them to see if I can resell them, but I will take some of them apart because I know there are a couple that don't work, just to show you what's inside of them. These two panel boxes here are small, but just taking it up to the camera, this is from your about 1970s. These are your old, they look almost like light bulbs, but these are your old breakers. I am going to take one of them apart, but just from looking into here, you can see some really nice wire. This wire right here, if I was to bring this stuff in as is, I'm going to get what we classify as 60% appliance wire. And this stuff alone is going to go for $2.94 a pound in London, Ontario, so Canadian money. I'm just going to set this one off to the side because I'm going to look at the medium one here. You can see as well, the great thing about this is there are tail end pieces of Romex wire. Nice big piece here that I've already opened. Your newer model Romex that you will see is usually white color like this. It is 3 strands inside, always has a middle one that is clean copper, 2 outer ones. But what's interesting about this older style is when you open it, there is a nice clean middle piece of copper and 2 strands that have a paper coating on it like this. You just have to unravel the paper. And Romex wire, all Romex wire, is worth stripping down to bare bright. If I was to bring this in as is, I'm actually going to get what we classify as 40% appliance wire, and that's because there is an outer coating as well as inner coating wires. These two have the coating on it, so there is more plastic, less copper ratio. So you want to make sure you separate it, as well as strip these coated wires down to clean copper. Currently right now, Bare Bright is going for about $5.05 a pound Canadian in London. And number 1 copper is going for $4.94 a pound. So you're going to get a lot more money stripping this down, and it is worth your while for sure. Great price. Scrappers Gold is copper, and it continues to stay at a high price. So Romex wire, the older style. And there are other pieces. This is another style of Romex. This kind of has like a plastic coating, and I do want to show this one here. Just going to cut it out of here. Okay, so another piece of Romex. This has more of a fiber winding on the outer side. This is a little bit more difficult to take off, but I can just use a wire stripper or even a knife going down the middle of it. This stuff does kind of tend to have a sticky residue, but it is still Romex. So all 3 of these older styles. Okay, so a lot of tail and Romex here that I have to take out. You can see right here, there is some really nice strands of copper wire. So the thicker, like this stuff, this is going to be, again, because it has 1 coating of wire on it, it is going to be classified as 60% appliance wire. Because this is thicker, I am also going to make sure that I strip that down Okay, the outer panel, as mentioned, is worth steel price. As you can see, put a magnet to it. Okay, so great price here. Steel casings. These casings are going right now for about 10 to 14 cents a pound. This casing is very heavy, so that's excellent right there, just worth of steel. Tin and steel right now, amazing price, continues to stay high. And I do want to answer a question I've had several times. What's the difference between tin or shred and steel? In order for something to be classified as steel, the scrapyards will look at its thickness. It has to be thicker than 1/4 inch. So this is not going to be bigger than 1/4 inch. So this will be tin. I call it shred because some places in southwestern Ontario, they will refer to it as tin or shred. Again, it depends on where you are. Some people have commented saying they've never heard of shred. It does depend on region where you are, as well as scrapyard. So some really nice tin right here at 10 to 14 cents a pound. And as I mentioned, this is extremely heavy. So the whole casing is going to be thrown into tin once I'm done. I have already removed one of the breakers. So this is your older style breaker. And what's interesting about these is on the bottom, there is a nice piece of plastic here. And all I'm actually going to do is take a hammer and hit it with a hammer and break it, which I've already done on this one. And what you will have is a couple nozzles here, or knobs here. I've already turned this one around. That little dot there that you see, that is actually a little dot of silver on that breaker. As well, inside of here, you can see that metallic circle. That little speck on there is also silver. So what I do with these silver contacts, relay boxes have them as well. I will put those into a little vial. I will cut those pieces off and hopefully extract that silver down the road. But all of your breakers will have silver from silver contacts. So there's lots of them on here, of course. So every one of these breakers, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, just on this one alone. Each one of them is going to have 4 dots of silver as well. The inner part there, that is also going to be number 1 copper or number 2 copper, depending on how clean it is there. Okay, so more copper inside of this. The rest of this casing, I am just going to look if I have my magnet. I had a magnet, there it is. So my magnet here, it is also tin. So once I remove that copper and the silver, the rest of this is going to go into tin. So that is great. But again, given the age of this, oh, I apologize. There are 2 rows of circuit breakers there. So times whatever I just mentioned by 2, they're further down. Okay, so there is a little bit of work for me involved to clear out all of this wire. But again, some really, really nice thick wire. Look at this stuff. This is all going to be stripped down, nice thick gauge. So all of this is leading from my Romex wire. Okay, so excellent price for copper. And this is loaded with it for sure. Okay, just going to remove this one. There are other wires here that you see. These are thicker. These all have, look at the size of those individual strands of wire. All of that, I'm actually just going to peel the outer part of this coating off. And all these individual strands I'm going to put into my 60% appliance wire as well. Your screw or connectors here, all of my screws I will unscrew. You did see them on the magnet. So I do throw these into tin, even though these are thicker than 1/4 inch. So I could put these into steel, but because I have a lot more tin, I always put it into my tin bucket. I have a huge bucket of screws and bolts. Again, it does depend on how much of a load you have. If I had a full truck of steel, I'm going to bring it in as steel, get about 2 cents more a pound. But again, very hard to fill up a load of steel. So a lot of times I just bring it right in with tin. So screws, for sure, something that I also collect. They do add up. The outer prongs that you see, these are more, if I have these up to the camera, so something like this. I am not 100% sure. I have tried the grinder test on this to see if they do produce a spark, if they're zinc coated. I believe that these are cast aluminum. If you know, please comment down below, but I'm gonna say they're cast aluminum. These are what hold the wire in place in the little ports or the holes here. Okay, so this, as I said, I believe it's cast aluminum. If it is cast aluminum, it's going for about 50 cents a pound. If it is zinc, it's going for about 13 cents a pound if it's zinc coated. But because it is non-magnetic, as you can see, this is going to be a good zinc. So if it's non-magnetic like this, if it was zinc, then it's going for, I think, 68 cents a pound. Okay, so if it's zinc, it's going to be worth more. A lot of times you will find zinc-coated items like faucets, other items like that. Easy to identify zinc when it's on faucets. For example, when you turn it over, it looks like you've taken a speck of oil and put it into a puddle. It's got that rainbow effect. These do not have that, so that does make me believe it's cast aluminum. Okay, so again, love the YouTube or scrapper community to help me with that one. But again, some more scrap value. Either way, doesn't matter. It's going to be non-magnetic item. So let me know. Okay, the last one here, I do want to look at this. And this one is more of a modern style circuit breaker box. Beautiful box here. Got the on and off. You can see if I open this, which I would do at a different time, I do want to check if it works. But you can see right here, these guys or these bolt connectors here are copper. You can see just in there that where the screw hole is. Again, you don't want to assume just because it looks like copper. You do want to do the scratch test. I have a file here. Okay, turn it over. You can see right there, that is coated copper. So because this is coated, I'm going to get number 2 copper price. Currently, number 2 copper price is $4.42 a pound. So still an excellent price. And this is going to go all the way through here once I open this box. There is also going to be some relays in here with the on and off switch. So anytime you have a switch or a click button that's going to have relay boxes in it, as well as circuit boards. You will see on circuit boards the little black boxes. For example, this is just a relay box that I have off of a couple of relay boxes. This is off a washing machine. And I do talk a lot about relay boxes like this that have silver in it. And I will include in my description the link to that video. So lots of silver out there. Free silver for sure, especially with silver going up in price. Great item to get. So I will include that one as well, places to find silver. It's everywhere and everywhere, so that's excellent. But again, another great on and off control panel box. This too, what's interesting is on the top here, you can see, just gonna hold this up to the camera, right here, there is a connector that goes all the way down. This has as well, I've already scratched that. You can see the copper, look, it's just screwed in, but another nice piece of coated copper. There's 2 of them here. So there's copper throughout this box. This box is very heavy, okay? Does have the screws that connect way more wire. So again, more Romex wire to strip, okay? Looking forward to that. I will include in the description how much of it I have, the weights. Okay, here is a nice clean piece of copper that I'm gonna just show you right off the connector. Okay, so this too, look at that nice clean copper I have here. So because this is heavily tarnished, number 2 copper, but great item as well. I do want to also mention the difference between number 2 copper, Bare Bright number 1. In order for wire to be classified as number 1 or Bare Bright, it has to be thicker than 16 gauge, which is the thickness of the lead tip of a pencil. Each one of these strands is thicker than 16 gauge, so that is why it will be number 1 or Bare Bright. You also want to look at if it is clean, free of a soldering or paint. Even though with a little bit of discoloration here, I'm just going to throw this into a vinegar solution that I have. It does upgrade it to number 1 copper. It does work. So that is all going to be number 1 copper. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it to Bare Bright, but still at 4 cents less than the Bare Bright, still an excellent value and worthwhile upgrading for number 2 to number 1. So great item there. Okay, so 1 circuit breaker. I am going to pop out here. I'm going to just open it. So inside of here, we know circuit breakers have the on and off switch here. Just going to break this open again. This is heavy plastic. Do want to put safety glasses on. Okay, just hitting it. Very therapeutic as well. There we go. Okay, so inside of there is some nice copper wire that you see connecting to the wire there. Inside of that, just gonna hit this with another hammer. Okay, there is right there my switches. There's 2 of them in here. Okay, so just gonna try and remove all of my plastic. Okay, so unfortunately some of this plastic is gonna go to the garbage, but inside here is what that breaker looks like. And there is on that piece, look at that, there's another dot. So look at that silver on that dot right there. So more silver inside of there. There is some brass in here. That is actually brass, this connector piece. So the silver is connected to the brass. Gonna put a magnet to the rest of this just to look. Inside does have, this is magnetic, so this is a little bit of tin, but you do want to get that brass piece. That yellow brass right there is going for about $3.50 a pound, and that silver, just gonna cut that off and put that into my vial. So again, a lot of great items in this breaker. I've got lots of copper wire in here. Okay, and there's also, this bar has 2 bars here. This is also gonna be copper. This bar is gonna go all the way down underneath this, these breakers. So I do wanna get that out too. So tons of copper. This one as well, if I turn it over, you can see right here, that piece of copper that is showing right over here. My thumb is, sorry, I moved my thumb right there. So more copper, and that is really thick, heavy copper for sure. So excellent, excellent items in here. Going to put the totals down below once I just take out the items in here. Okay, not going to open up these circuit breakers. I am going to test them to see if I can get resale on them, as well as the old ones. I have seen some people post the old circuit breakers on there. People that have older homes that are refusing to get upgrades or rewiring. So there is a market for those. If they don't work, as mentioned, great scrappable material. So thank you again, George Stukas and family, for these. I look forward to further tear them down. I appreciate them for this video and being able to divert these from the landfill. So again, hope you enjoyed that, guys. Please comment down below, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.